Okay, so all I did now was go through and clean up our project a little bit. I deleted things that we weren't really using, and now it's just the 9 tracks that we're actually going to be using for the song. You might have also noticed that I went on ahead and renamed Audio 5 and Audio 7 to Mid Solo 1 and Mid Solo 2. This is going to become important right now because this is the final module where we export everything and get it all ready to go for Ableton Live. So when you import these things into Ableton for the final mastering or whatever DAW you wind up using in the end, it's going to keep all of these names of all the tracks. So it's important that you have everything labeled because you might know where everything is here on the MPC, but then be completely lost when you import it into Ableton for mastering. So we're going to do a couple of steps to get there. First, it's always, not always, but in this case, it would be a good idea to explode the drums for mastering in Ableton. What that means is that this is a drum kit, right? So exploding this drum track is going to show us everything that it's going to take everything that we recorded and it's going to put it in its own separate track. It'll mute this track. And as far as I'm aware, all that I used was the bass drum and the snare and a hi-hat or something like that. I don't think I used any cymbals or anything. So it's not going to be that big of a deal to explode this track. First, let me just go ahead and save right quick with all the changes I made. And the way that you do that is you hit the pencil icon here, you press explode track, it explodes the track. Now you'll notice that that is the kick drum. We are now on track 2. If we go back to track 1, you'll see that it's muted. So that's the kick drum, that's the snare, mute group 1, not sure what that is. It must be the hi-hat or something like that. But if we play the song, it still works exactly as it did before, only everything is separated. And what that's going to do for you is it'll allow you to EQ each one of those elements separately. Very important, very cool thing to have, and that's why we exploded the track. And everything else, I don't think there's a reason to touch that. The rhythm guitar is the rhythm guitar. The 2 solos guitars are the solo guitars. The main vocals, the bass, the ad-lib, the closing solos. Yeah, everything else is fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to press the menu button and we're going to press save. And you might notice there's something up there called Ableton Live Set. And it's true, it exists. But I wouldn't tempt fate and try and get it to work. What I would do is actually press audio mix down. And it's already set to wave. It's already set to 24-bit bit depth, but I'm going to make that a 32-bit float. What you want is separate tracks, which we now have. Set the sample rate to 48 kilohertz is probably fine. And then you want to export your track. You hit the export button and it'll ask you where to save to. we're currently in my project folder, and I definitely don't want to save there, so I'm just going to hit up. This is my SD card, by the way. And let's see, I think a good place to be, I'm going to make a new folder in here, and I'm going to call it Live. Okay, and I'm going to rename this to Sandy and Jim. Okay, and then we're just going to hit the save button and let it do its thing. Okay, that took an insanely long time to save. Just bring up the screen. I was going to try to do the cool thing where I record the whole thing and then I speed it up to do the fast forward effect, but that took like maybe 10 or 15 minutes. But anyway, that's it. All the tracks are now saved on the SD card. They're ready to go into Ableton. But the MPC part of this MPC Live rock course is over. So the last thing that I'm going to do is show you how to import the tracks that we just exported into Ableton, and then I'll just give you a rundown of everything that we went through in this course. And if you want to follow up with what we're going to do next, then I guess in a month or two, whenever it's ready, I'm definitely going to need a break after this. I'm going to launch an Ableton Live mastering course showing you how to take your MPC tracks into Ableton Live and do the final mastering with, and this will be with all of the plugins and the effects, everything that Ableton comes with. And it's not just for Ableton, I should say, because, you know, a lot of the plugins are just regular VST plugins that you can use in whatever DAW you have. So make sure you check that out, subscribe to the mailing list, and yeah, I guess I'll see you over in Ableton. Take care.